Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS, and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. So there's some pretty intriguing buzz coming out of Tampa Bay right now, and it involves none other than Mike Evans, a player who's been a cornerstone for the Buccaneers since he was drafted. And I know, fans of the Commanders love a good trade story, especially when it involves a proven playmaker like Evans. Right now, Tampa is in a bit of a tough spot. They're sitting at 7-6, which isn't terrible, but their offense has been inconsistent at best, averaging just around 22 points per game this season. And that's not really what you want from a team that's still trying to contend, especially with the NFC South looking more competitive than ever. But the big news is that Tampa is flirting with the idea of trading Mike Evans, and the rumors are heating up that the Commanders could be a prime landing spot. Now, why would Tampa consider trading Evans at this point? Well, for starters, their cap situation is tight, about $12 million in cap space remaining, which isn't great when you're trying to build a team for a deep playoff run. Tampa's also exploring options to rebuild their defense, which ranks 23rd in DVOA. Definitely not where they want to be. And they've been hit by some injuries in the secondary, including multiple concussions. Plus, at age 32, Evans is in the later stage of his prime, and Tampa might be looking to move him for younger talent or draft picks to reset their roster. Some reports suggest they're eyeing a package that includes picks and possibly a safety, which could give them some cap relief and a chance to reload for the future. If Evans does get moved, the impact on the Commanders could be huge. They're currently sitting at 6-7, and their wide receiver core has been solid but not explosive. Adding Evans would give them a true big play threat that can stretch the field and win contested catches, something that's been a bit of a missing piece for them this season. It's not just about the yards. Evans can change the entire dynamic of their passing game, especially with Sam Howell developing as a quarterback. His connection with Terry McLaurin has been good, but Evans would elevate that pairing to a whole new level, giving Washington a duo that defenses will have to game plan around. Looking at the numbers, Evans had a pretty strong 2025 campaign so far, 62 receptions for 920 yards and 8 touchdowns. His yards per catch average is at 14.8, and he's grading out with an impressive 89.6 on PFF, making him one of the top wide receivers in terms of overall impact. He's also elite when it comes to contested catches, with a 62% catch rate in those situations, and he averages 2-3 yards per route run, placing him in the top 8 league-wide. And even with some injury concerns, he suffered a shoulder injury in Week 8. He still played 95% of the snaps, showing he's a durable and reliable target. Standing at 6'5" and weighing around 231 pounds, Evans is a physical marvel, often compared to the likes of DeAndre Hopkins, especially because of his ability to win deep balls and come down with contested throws. In terms of his career, Evans has amassed over 12,000 receiving yards and more than 100 touchdowns, making him one of the most prolific receivers of his generation. His EPA per target is at +0.32, which ranks among the elite, and he's accumulated over 500 yards after the catch over his career. That kind of production isn't easy to find, especially in a player who can still perform at a high level at age 32. Tampa's hesitation might be rooted in the fact that they're unsure about their future with Baker Mayfield under center. Some reports suggest they're not convinced the quarterback can take them to the promised land, especially after an 0-3 start and the current struggles. The Buccaneers are in a bit of a panic mode, trying to rebuild and retool quickly, and moving Evans could be part of that strategy. Now, for the Commanders, acquiring Evans makes a ton of sense. They're in that middle ground, competitive but needing that extra spark on offense. Adding a player of Evans's caliber would instantly boost their aerial attack, giving Howell a reliable target who can make plays in tight coverage and turn small gains into big gains. The stats show that Evans would add about 250 yards per game in aerial yards, and with the current receiving core, he'd be a game changer. Plus, with the offensive scheme that head coach Ron Rivera and offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy are developing, Evans's skill set fits perfectly. His ability to excel in contested catch situations would complement Terry McLaurin's speed and Deebo Samuel's versatility, creating a potent trio that defenses would find very hard to handle. And let's not forget the psychological boost this kind of move would give the team. Washington has been building towards something, and adding a veteran like Evans could be the final piece to turn their offense into a top 10 unit. Their offensive efficiency would skyrocket, especially with the upcoming schedule, and it could even push them into playoff contention if the chemistry clicks early. The fans have been hungry for a true game-breaking receiver, and Evans brings that swagger, those clutch catches, and leadership that can elevate the entire offense. Looking at the big picture, this move could also be a strategic blueprint for the future. Tampa seems to be eyeing a rebuild, especially considering the cap constraints and their uncertain future with Mayfield. Meanwhile, Washington could lock in Evans as a cornerstone alongside McLaurin and Deebo Samuel, forming a trio that could dominate defenses for years to come. It's a classic case of a team in flux versus a team trying to ascend to the next level. The trade, if it happens, could be a statement that Washington is serious about contending and willing to make bold moves to do so. Plus, it's a move that might not just impact this season, but set the tone for the team's identity long-term. Now, talking about the Super Bowl odds, if Washington manages to pull off such a trade, their chances could improve significantly. Evans's presence could bump their odds from plus 2,500 to somewhere around plus 1,100, especially if they capitalize on his red zone skills. His grade of 89.6 on PFF increases their TD scoring potential by more than 22%. That kind of upgrade could be the difference between a first-round exit and a deep playoff run. It also sends a message to the entire league that the Commanders are all in, aiming to build a championship-caliber team with a clear offensive identity. Of course, nothing is guaranteed in the NFL, and tons of factors come into play: injuries, team chemistry, coaching adjustments. But for fans of the Commanders, this potential move is incredibly exciting. It could be the piece that pushes them from a good team into a great one. It's about seizing opportunities, making bold decisions, and believing in the talent you have. Evans's proven track record, combined with the young core Washington is developing, makes this a trade worth watching closely in the coming weeks. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think the Commanders should go all in and trade for Mike Evans? Would you give up some draft capital or a safety to bring in a player who can instantly make your team a playoff contender? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Washington Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news.